Well, hello everyone. Thank you all so very much for joining us yet again. This time we're talking about the Mayfair Witches, episode 3, titled Second Line. Oh yeah, what you got for us today?
All right, welcome back, second line. So we know that Elia loves titles. I want to pull my girl Vera Mean in on this one because she is in the great city. Let's talk about what a second line is real quick for us, Vera Mean.
It's actually the funeral procession that goes after the casket.
Yes.
It's a
So
whole parade, actually.
yes, so
Instruments, all of that. It's like a praise dance. It's African in heritage.
I knew she would do it justice. I knew she would. So because we are getting into some New Orleans culture, I figured you'd enjoy speaking to that. So let's get into it. Second line.
All right, so what were your thoughts of this particular episode? Let's start with Corey.
So I dragged it the first episode. I dragged it. I wasn't here for it. It wasn't giving. It wasn't what I wanted or what I needed. The second episode, I kind of was like, okay, it's getting a little better, but it's still not what I want. The third episode, I'm like, maybe we get there. Maybe we starting to get there. So you know, we start first with Deidre showing her throat being slashed. That's how they ended the second episode, and you open it up to that on the third. That is a great part to open up the episode because what the hell happened? Who was it? Why? And how? Have no idea at this point. I think it was Lasher, but I don't know what y'all say. What y'all say? Who y'all think it was?
I don't think it was Lasher. I do not think it was Lasher at all. He seemed really, really upset, and I don't think he was faking it. I don't think he would have manifested just to be like, only for him to have been the one to slash her throat. I think his little booty buddy got snatched away too soon. He wasn't feeling it. Like, wait a
Mhm.
minute now. So I don't think
Did you
it,
say his little booty buddy?
I did. I did.
Thought I was
Erica,
feeling.
what were your thoughts?
I hoped it was the aunt with some freaky witchery.
Some freaky witchery. I like that.
I hope that it is. Because it's like
You can't trust no grown woman that sleep in a twin bed with another grown woman in the same room. It's
most
got to be her.
most to the point. Like it had to be auntie. When I
But
when I think about it though, because she wanted to get her back and back to the house, and I felt like she knew something was gonna happen because she already talked too much already before she got on the elevator. So I just was like, it would be really cool if it was some cool witchery going on where she ended up on that elevator and off.
Like you step foot on here, throat slash. The
Yeah, like
end.
I told you, you guys couldn't be together. There was a reason that I separated y'all. And so since you for to be played with, I'm not for to be played.
Now I'm finna separate your head from the rest of your body. Good day.
Sometimes
Mm,
it be like that,
mm, mm.
off with her head.
Heads will roll.
Now, actually, I think Cortland had something to do with the death of Deidre. I do. By evidence of the fact that Lasher showed up and was not happy. It was clearly not happy. So much so that he hurt Cortland by throwing that rock through the window. And the only thing that Cortland had to say was, well, you should be happy. Now you have your 13th, right?
right,
So I
Mm.
think Cortland has something to do with it, and I think that Cortland, thinking about himself, was like, if this is the 13th, now whatever it was that we've had with the 12th, it will expand. Like we'll get more, whatever, more whatever the more is. That's what I think Cortland was expecting. Now, how? Going back to what Corey said, that I can't figure out because no other person other than Rowan in the episode adaptation of the book seems to have any power whatsoever.
Right, right.
Whereas in the book, pretty much everyone that we've seen as characters had some type of power. Not here. So the how, I can't answer that.
And then maybe it's a character that we haven't even met yet. Like maybe it's someone to be introduced that Cortland has relationship with, or that he knows that's also a male witch, perhaps. Maybe a booty buddy of his, or um, or someone, or maybe it's a member of the Talamasca. Because they seem to
Nah,
have
the
different
Talamasca
types of
doesn't get
powers.
involved. Talamasca
Yeah, they're
doesn't get
not supposed
involved.
to get involved, but is there a rogue agent? I don't know. I don't think we know enough to really know who exactly did it.
Yeah,
And
no.
maybe
I
that's gonna
like
be the
the
big
idea of
mystery.
a rogue agent.
I like that idea as well.
So they've had rogue agents before. In fact, that's how. I, who is it? I believe her name is Suzanne. So Suzanne fell in love with a Talamasca,
Hmm.
and that's how the whole Mayfair line started with a Talamasca. But
Okay.
he was a rogue agent. But he was their one and only rogue agent. But that happened so
Hmm.
long ago. I can't envision someone from the Talamasca doing that again.
I think
What
I
book?
love
What
the
book
way
do you
you're a
think that was based
historian
off of?
on Anne Rice novels.
What'd you say?
I
What
love
book
the
was
way
that?
you're a historian on these Anne Rice novels.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
Historian on all things, just like you, Bear of Men.
All right. So Corey started off by talking about his impression of the third episode. Oh yeah, what are your impressions of the third episode?
I mean, we in the car. We ain't got that much gas.
But we going somewhere.
It's we might be a block up the street. It's still not doing it for me. And perhaps I'm tripping because my expectations were so high after interview, if I'm being 100% honest. Like perhaps if I hadn't seen Interview with the Vampire and I started watching this, I would probably be like, oh, okay, this is a pretty cool show. Maybe, but it's just not doing it for me. It's just subpar at this point to me. Like even with the episode second line, such an amazing title, such rich background. I feel like there's so much you could have done with that. And for what they delivered, I think it was kind of really weak. New
What do
Orleans
you
is
What do you think?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
What do you think they could have done different?
I think they could have done a better second line. It was just weird. And not in a weird like, oh, this is New Orleans, like welcome to the city. I felt like it was just weak, especially being a Louisiana native. It was kind of weak. It really was.
I think it could have been scarier
Yeah.
or like in a sexy way. I think they wanted it to be kind of sexy, but like them ending up in front of that house and then her having that moment, like during a second line, it was like,
It was just giving me Zorro with Lasher with that mask on, but not even a good, like a great value Zorro. It was just not, I don't know.
Look, I thought they were gonna have sex in front of the house, in
mm.
front of
Or
everybody,
in the
like just getting
cemetery.
it
I was
in.
thinking in the cemetery.
It don't
And
matter.
Even
Just
because New
sexier.
Orleans is a city that's notorious for debauchery
give
and a
me
lot of things.
something.
I wouldn't have been mad at
Voodoo
that.
and magic and
Take it off. Take it off. Something. I don't.
They
Say
could they
something.
could have
and
they could have included
sexier
that.
and scarier and like because the whole idea of a second line in a cemetery, it's beautiful, it's spiritual, but then it's
But it's
dark
also haunting.
and mystical
Mhm.
and not understood. And I think they tried to have it for a black person, but it's, to be honest with you, it would have been loud, for the music, it would have been louder and there would have been more praise dancing. You know what I'm saying? It would have been more drums. It would, you know what I mean?
There were
Like,
like no snakes around, like nothing,
Like there was no shadowy creatures or anything, things looking behind the tombstones that you didn't see, but you did see. Like there was no callbacks. I would have thought that they would have thrown in a vampire here or there, or you
something.
just saw the eyes in the background. I expect to see that sort of thing, and I
you
just
just got the
did not
deceased
see it.
sitting on top of the thing, just chilling.
Yeah, and why was he the only one? Why weren't there more? Like way more than what they
The
had? They
whole
were just
idea,
They
the
didn't
whole idea
emphasize it. They
isn't
were
to haunt.
there.
Yeah, the whole idea isn't to haunt the family, but it's haunting
right.
because it's in New Orleans cemetery.
Hmm.
So
At
you expect,
nighttime.
I mean, you saw some dead people,
Right.
but it was like they're just like, hey, chilling. I'm at a
Right,
party.
they're chilling. They're not. You know, yeah,
And it,
hell
to
yeah, I could
me, it's
totally
like
see it.
if
Totally
it
see
would have
it.
been more of a chanting and like not exactly Santeria vibes, but again, voodoo vibes. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, voodoo vibes because voodoo's
I
in New
ha-
Orleans, and it's
I
Even
not
have to say I'm
a
really
Salem witch
disappointed in the lack of
project
voodoo in the
that's
show.
going on, huh?
I'm highly disappointed in the lack of voodoo in the show, or even the mention of it,
Almost
or
it's
even the
like they didn't even
suggestion.
want to touch it. Yeah. It's
Right.
almost like they didn't want to touch it. But how are you in New Orleans and you're not touching on that?
Yeah.
And be a witch. I'm sorry if I'm gonna go all the way into my geek mind about the way I'm thinking about this, but if you're gonna be a witch in New Orleans, then you're interacting with some witches who know voodoo.
Yeah.
Okay, you're not from Salem. You
Yeah.
cannot give me Salem witch product. I mean, witch, not product, but witch vibes in New Orleans. These are different witches. They wouldn't have come from England or, Great Britain or any Nordic country or France, whatever. They would have came from Africa or they would have came from France if there were any, if there are witches in France, they would have, you know what I mean? So for me, it's just like, and mostly it would have been voodoo. So for even if you're white and you're practicing witchcraft in New Orleans, it's like, how do you not encounter the voodoo witch doctors? And how do you
Right.
not have, how does that not rub off on your allure in the city with your witchcraft? It would have had to, right? And for
So,
them not to touch on it, it's like, I think part of what's missing.
and
To
it's a
say it,
small city too.
They
yeah,
have to know of each other.
there would have been no way.
so for me, just the idea of naming this particular episode after Second Line, it left you wanting so much more. It left you thinking like, is this it? Is this it? Like really, is this it? And to answer Corey's question, what are your thoughts about this particular episode? Like, nah, like, okay, so to borrow what Elia said earlier, if we're going on a trip, like when you go on a trip, your car is parked, you might put it in reverse because you leave. I'm stuck in reverse. There is no go. There's no go to this. There's no go to this. Now, okay, I will say this: episodes 2 and 3, I didn't fall asleep. I didn't
Right.
fall asleep,
Yeah.
but come on, come with it.
Yeah.
I see nothing. Like oh, another example. So episode 1 had 1.7 million viewers. Episode 2 had 500 some thousand.
So the people are seeing what we're seeing. The
Yes.
garbage, like it's been revealed.
Be in New Orleans and not give us New Orleans. I'm just saying,
Right.
you giving us these accents.
One
All
more,
right,
one more time, bear with me, please. How you
you
gonna
can't
be
do New-
to not give us New Orleans? You were giving us maybe New Iberia. You may
And
be giving us
not
New,
even
Even
that.
Dallas.
New
You get
Not
York,
even
Dallas.
that. No,
New
Quebec.
Mexico,
No, it was giving us Quebec.
Yeah, like the kind of
New Zealand, but not New Orleans. It's everything but.
No
I just
flavor.
want to ask y'all from down, like so
Next
y'all
to
know
down under. Next to down under. That's what
My other thing is, ain't no black people in the show. Where the
how,
black folk
Slay?
at?
yeah, they got some. I mean, not
No,
major
but in the
parts.
city, in the
Oh, in the background, like not
and
like
just in the
appropriate.
city,
Yeah,
in the
you can't
city.
miss. You can't miss them. You can't miss the black folk down here, like literally everywhere, every other
Because
corner,
even
every time.
even if they're trying to give us the St. Charles vibe, they still got them people that's on off of St. Charles that's just hanging out and doing their thing, and you can't miss it. It's just a part of the city. Even in the cultured areas of the city, there's still aspects of quote unquote the everyday people, the common people.
every day.
That's what I like
That's what
about
makes
the
New
original.
Orleans, New
They gave us
Orleans.
New Orleans.
You can't get away
Right.
from New Orleans, and I mean this with respect. You can't get away from New Orleans if you're gonna be in New Orleans. You can't,
Right.
even if the greater New Orleans area, like you in New Orleans, you know where you at, and you move and operate like that, and it rubs off on everybody and everything. So for me, it just isn't rubbing off in the episode.
I don't feel that New Orleans stank. That I keep
Yeah,
in the city. That
Ooh.
heaviness that
Yes,
be in the air when you
Ooh.
get down there. That
yes.
party gravy feel
Ooh.
that's in the air. I don't feel
Say
that.
party
Party
gravy.
I
gravy.
ain't see no hand grenades. I ain't see no
I ain't seen
hurricanes on the
nothing.
on
No
the
now
ground.
you
I
bees.
ain't
know
seen none
you
of
in the
that.
swamp.
None of
When you
that.
come down here, you know you a maroon when you bring your ass to New Orleans.
You
You
know,
maroon in New Orleans.
You
You
can't
don't get
leave
that.
it. You got to
anywhere on
come
New
back.
Orleans, you walk down a little side street, they got a neon light with a little juke joint, a little place, a little hood place, a little duck
Yeah.
off that you could just go in.
But like
Yeah.
every
History of
other
New Orleans.
neighborhood, in
You
every
know, when
other
you
Yeah.
come out of New
neighborhood,
Orleans, you coming out sick because everything that you've been exposed to.
let me
Throw
tell
your
you,
shoes away.
you ain't
That's the party
if
gravy. It's the
you down here,
mixture of pee,
if
poo, and
you
whatever
down here
else
in no
going on
place
down
Look,
in
there.
I ain't seen no tennis shoes on the electricity line. I ain't seen
Right.
none of that.
I ain't
Where
seen
we
nobody
at?
talking about a hot sausage po' boy,
nothing.
a link, a D&D pad. I
You
ain't
ain't
seen
seen
none of
nobody
that.
twerk or nothing, not one time. That's what
Nothing.
I'm saying.
I ain't
At a
heard no Big
football,
Frida. I ain't heard no
ain't
Frida in the
nobody,
background.
ain't
I
nobody
mean,
skipping. Ain't nobody hitting you, and it's a black one. It's a black second line. Ain't nobody do the two step that everybody be doing. That come on,
And you're right. And you're right about that.
ain't nobody. Listen,
You're right
no,
about that.
what, no Mardi Gras Indians. Ain't no Yakami. Ain't none of that.
Yep.
you gave me
Yep.
the
Yep.
commercial, and then
Right.
you want me to believe they stay down there on the first street, baby? No, they
Yeah.
don't.
What none of this giving New Orleans? None
This
of
is
it.
this
None
is
of it.
completely off topic, but just curious, Vera Man, how much you think Cyprian apartment costs?
Oh, honey, let me see. A
Because
month?
it's kind of nice.
Oh,
And
throw
where in New
3,400
Orleans
a month.
exactly is that apartment?
I don't know.
Nowhere. All of this is happening in Canada. All of they shot this in Canada.
Say nowhere.
Now I've seen some nice places in New Orleans where
Yeah.
that could have existed. But so look, so Cyprian said basically, look, this is like a hideaway or whatever he said for the Talamasca. But his sister showed up. Like
To get her shoes from under the
To get
sofa
our shoes.
to go
like
to work.
what's really happening? These people didn't think about this script.
It feel like
She came to get some shoes from under the sofa to go to work, and she like 1,000 days pregnant. And this
and she
man's
Right.
carrying
house is
for
immaculate.
somebody
And
else.
So
the
you can't
shoes
put
that
your
she was
shoes under
getting,
the
were they
sofa?
waitress shoes? Were they stripper shoes? Was she going
No,
to
she
the
was
paint?
pregnant.
Where was
She was
she
pregnant.
going?
She was pregnant. You
She
know,
wasn't wearing them
whatever.
heels no fucking well. That's what he trying to say. Where she went heels pregnant? Nowhere. Like she gonna trip
But
forward.
look,
The
but
real
look.
Gold ones at that.
So in this show, what they're trying to say is that Cyprian always had these powers. If Cyprian always had these powers, then his sister must know that he has these powers. So
right.
when your girl was talking about like the sister should have been like, "Oh, you must be kind of like my brother," but she got scared of her. None of this is giving me the right vibe. Like these people didn't think about nothing.
Then they didn't work. Then she's a surrogate for a same-sex couple. Like y'all got a lot going on in
I
here.
mean,
Like
cute storyline, but doesn't make sense. Cause she ain't
Not at
coming
all.
there to get no 6-inch heels to go to work, but she carrying somebody else's kid.
Mm-mm,
No, she
mm-mm,
not. She getting
mm-mm,
paid not
mm-mm,
to be wearing heels right now.
mm-mm. And,
She
and,
would be
and, and
getting paid to carry the baby the whole time. There's no way that what she carried the baby the whole time and had to work with a belly that big. That ain't how it goes. I'm for real. The people who be doing that surrogate stuff, they make sure they get money to where they can sit on their ass
it's true.
on them last couple
That's
months.
true.
That
That's a
wasn't
good
all out
point.
as a writer. Ain't nobody in no damn here about to go to work talking about I'm carrying babies. What I'm gonna get 40,000 because I carried it at the end? No, I'm not. No, I'm not.
So this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that Mayfair Witches just dug into stereotype, stereotype, stereotype. Whereas with interview, it was like, nah, we're gonna take these, we understand these stereotypes, but we gonna flip it on his head. They made Louis a king of business.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
They also said it back in the early 1900s, where he was a Creole who could have actually been running New Orleans at the time. Like Creole people did have really good businesses and were afforded a lot more privileges and opportunities in New Orleans. Like that was
Yeah,
a real
we'll
life
talk about
situation. It seems
that.
like the writers are more in touch with the past African American than the present one.
That's my point.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No. Like you clarified basically what I was saying. I don't like what they've done. I
Yeah.
do not like what they've done at all.
It's trash.
It's
His
garbage.
Is
Garbage.
pure D trash.
It's that trash they left Lestat in on that last episode. It's
Yeah.
it's stinking just like that.
But see, at least that trash had a purpose.
It had a purpose. You're right.
And it
Right.
left me wanting to
This
see
is
the
fluff.
when he was gonna come out that trash. So far, I don't give a damn about Rowan. I don't give a shit about Carlotta. I don't care nothing about the other one we don't even know her name. Feely, whatever her name is. The other one, the other
Did
sister.
you say Sealy?
Feely, whatever her name is. I don't know crap about her.
The
I
other
was
spinster.
interested in Delphine, because
Poor
I assumed that she
Delphine.
was gonna be the black piece of the puzzle that I'm missing, but that died on the vine. I don't know. I don't give a shit about none of these people.
On the vine.
Yeah.
They gotta
Hit
make
it.
it love Rowan. They haven't made
Hit
me
it.
love it.
But hold up, wait a minute. Wait, how about Carlotta? What she did to Delphine?
They're white.
Carlotta needs to be executed for what she did to poor Delphine. But you know what? I'm honestly, let me be clear, y'all, and please don't unfollow us after I say this. I am not one to blame the victim, okay? But I blame Delphine, kind of sort of, for this, because Delphine, you free, my girl. You's free. You stuck around.
We free now.
You stuck around and let her play with you. You should have left.
She let her
Error
play
on the writing. Error on the writer who adapted this, because everybody and their mama know that black woman from New Orleans wouldn't have stayed after that woman got up out that chair, baby.
What she would have said?
And I'm like, oh, babe. Oh, no, baby. Oh, I'm about to go. I'm about to go. Right along with you.
Go with Deidre. God, Deidre done woke up out of coma, God.
Girl,
I ain't going back to the house, no.
I ain't going back to the house, no. Oh, no, baby. She'd have been out there and she'd have been telling everybody in the city what the hell just happened. Girl, this woman was in a coma for years. I've been feeding her soup for 5 years. She got right up and walked right out the door. Girl, watch.
And she just as unconcerned about all
You
of
got
that.
she got
like you said, she had no Earl or nothing. She had no Earl on her legs. I guess she woke up moving just fine.
That old lady would got her holy Earl. She'd have doused the door on the way out. She wouldn't have been there for Carlotta to see when she got back home, baby.
She would have had brick dust. She would have had something. It'd have been something extra.
Baby, Delphine would have been. They'd have been like, Delphine, you coming into work today? Oh no, baby. Oh, I got a necklace for you. You gonna keep that? Oh no, shit.
But you sitting in a parlor with Carlotta.
Baby, that's one of them looms for your family. I don't want that.
And letting her trick you into taking that necklace and
putting
it on.
Oh no, I can't take that. It's a family heirloom.
She might as well was rocking like Sophia in Color Purple. She was rocking at the table.
Rocking, just rocking.
She should have just was doing that. That's all she had to be doing. Oh no.
Eyes ain't worthy, ma'am.
Eyes ain't worthy. And then if she'd have tried to put it on her, she'd have been like, see, that's what I'm talking about right there. I'm about to leave for them people come up in here.
And then she an older black woman too.
Yeah.
She didn't give older black woman.
She would have did something.
No, all the black woman would have been like, if you'd have put that on me, I'd pop the piss at you. They
Delphine.
wouldn't have put that on. I said they gonna do that. Now you that ain't true neither. You might as well made that maid white. Cause
Yep.
I
ain't no
Yep.
kind of
black woman was
She's
gonna
very
put
think it
that.
was a
docile.
missed opportunity. Really, I really think it was a missed
All the way
opportunity
around.
to add another layer, like what we was talking about with voodoo and all those other aspects of what could have been done with that character. She could have ran and told somebody else, and could introduce another aspect to the type of witches, the type of city, the type of things that go on in New Orleans. And I just think that
Mhm.
Yeah, Carlotta could. It seemed like Carlotta could have used her witch powers to
right.
like maybe finesse Carlotta at her home or something. I mean, Carlotta got legs. She could have been outside Delphine's house, chanting that magical shit, and doing her witchery like that. It's just a whole. I just talked to her and coaxed her into putting the necklace on. I was like, oh, okay.
In a stern white woman way.
And now
You ain't
come
gonna
follow
bring me
me into a basement in New Orleans. First of all, a basement in New Orleans.
Where they do that at? Where they do that at?
It's below sea level.
Most
You
of the
right.
That's what I'm
time.
talking about. All of this is Canada.
This
All
ain't
of this is
San
Canada.
Francisco. If you put a basement in New Orleans,
It's gonna
It'll
flood.
flood.
there's a reason
It's
why we
gonna
don't have
flood.
basements in Louisiana.
All the
Yeah,
houses on stilts down there. What was we talking about? We don't even.
right.
What
You
was we
done
talking?
walked into a basement.
It's too
Ain't
Now,
no
much.
way.
why not the attic?
They would go in the attic. They ain't gonna go in no basement. They got attics. They ain't got basements.
And you know what? According to the book, the attic would have been the perfect place for the maid to go because the attic is very significant to the story. I
Mm.
ain't gonna tell y'all, but it is significant, and that would have made more sense.
You gotta just stumbled into something. Just
Because
because
like
it don't make sense.
It's too much.
Maybe the
why
house. Like, let's just give them a general. Maybe the house is on is elevated, and that area is
By, wait, no, no,
I
He
was
just
waiting on
trying.
you
He
to say it.
trying. He
no.
trying.
What's her
trying to
name?
get
Rowan walked to the house, huh?
And
To
it
the
was
Yeah.
whole area?
Yeah.
No.
it ain't on
It
it ain't
ain't.
No.
elevated. Mm-mm.
No.
even them old houses though. They built so tall
That you
that
could
the
have a
ground
developed space
floor,
underneath the subfloor, but that's not how you know.
The
no, the
ground
ground
floor is
floor
elevated.
is used.
Yeah,
It's
the
built
ground floor is elevated.
floor at all. That's probably the bottom room, but it's you have to walk up the steps, so it's really just the first floor. It's not a basement. And
Exactly.
most
Correct.
of them are really nice. That's why I'm like, I still wouldn't see it being raggedy down there in basement. Like,
It's too
That's a good
much.
point.
It's too
That's a
And
good
not
much.
point.
and not enough all at the same time.
So during the second line, Lasher decides that he wants to, I guess, impress upon Rowan, whatever. So he drugs her, entices her, um, and a lot happens, and then nothing really happens at all during the scene. Like, can someone break this down for me? Like,
It's broken.
what, like,
can we ask
ooh,
this question? How
what
she
up?
know that ain't her mama if she
How she
don't know?
did what? How she
How
did
she
what?
know that ain't her mama if she don't even know her mama?
Oh,
How she know her mama wouldn't say this to her?
Mhm.
What is that? That's just bad writing.
And then you're just coming around to this. It's I don't know. It's
You see
just
what I'm saying? She wouldn't say
it's
that to me. How the fuck?
it's almost
I mean,
kind of like
that's how she
she's taken to
reacted.
everything too well, too easy, too quickly,
Yeah.
almost.
It's almost just like, well, how you know that though?
So a lot of this, to me, their writing was so bad, and it seems like they're trying to fall back on the writing of Ran Ice, and Rice, and so because we've opened ourselves up to all of these different possibilities, and we can't manage it. So
Mm.
let's just go down this path. It's just so weak. It's so weak.
It is considering how, and I guess my question to you guys would be: are we judging it harshly based on how great Interview was? If this would have came
No,
first,
At
and
this
then we
point,
would be watching Interview, would we feel the same way?
I would not have been watching this.
Okay.
No,
I
I
would
would
have
have given
stopped
up a
after
long
episode
time
one.
ago. When it stopped making sense and it didn't pick up, I'd have stopped. I'm only watching it because of Interview. As far as
And that's true.
storyline, I just feel like it has a lot of gaps that don't make sense. That is why, like, they're gonna have to start making this make sense.
not even gaps. It's quantum leaps.
Yeah, I'm
I
just
think the
glad
better
that
question, though, I'm sorry for interrupting everyone. I think the better question is if we weren't from Louisiana and had the background that we have from New Orleans, would we like this show?
Nope.
maybe that's what it is. That might
Uh,
be.
Probably.
I feel
I
like
think
that
we
adds to
probably
the
would.
disdain.
I
But
think it's
because
good, but
we are
the
from
food on there
Louisiana,
anyway.
I think we are the standard. Like they should have had people from Louisiana that knows the culture, that should have been in the room when it was writing it, discussing it, people that can identify with the culture of the city and know the things that they're talking about. And I don't know if they did that for this series like they did for Interview.
And they
Obviously,
obviously aren't following Anne Rice's blueprint.
and they're not. Then they're
Because
No, they're
following. They're
not
not. That's
at
the other
all.
problem. Why aren't they
writer,
following the
At
books?
all.
and if you're reading the books, you feel like you're in New Orleans. She clearly connected to the
Yes.
Yeah,
city.
she does a
They're
really
not
good job.
following Anne Rice. They're not following Uncle Ben's Rice at this point.
I
Ooh.
need you to stop. I need you to
Seriously
stop.
though, because it's
Oh,
just kind of like, did you even consult anyone from the area? Because it's not even like only a black person will know some of these things. They'll tell you.
Right. And I wonder, they have Anne Rice and Christopher Rice listed as executive producers, but I wonder if that's just a credit that they're giving them because they bought the rights to the story.
Just a
Of
credit.
course,
Just a
Because
this
I-
she couldn't have signed off on this.
credit. Not on
Because
this.
Anne Rice ain't make no bones about telling people. Mm-mm.
I
That
don't
ain't
like,
me.
right, right.
And then
I
she
don't
from
write
New
screenplays.
Orleans. She from New Orleans, so mm-mm.
I'm curious what her son thinks of this show.
Hmm.
I'm curious.
Worth looking into.
Where do we think it goes from here? Where do we think?
Hopefully
Where do we
up.
think it goes from here?
Hopefully it speeds up.
Yeah,
I don't even know. I can't even at this point. I can't even say this is what happens next in the book because they deviated so much. None of this seems familiar.
They went AWOL with the story, and I hate that usually. That's why I hate to read the books first. Because when you take a perfectly good story and start doing what you want to do with it, it irritates me.
So let me say this: I am not going to say that this book or those books on the Mayfair Witches were good books. I'm not going to say that. It didn't get good until the very end, and then it said, "Okay, well, shit. I've read up till now. Let me read this next one because clearly she wants me to read this next one." But nah, they did a much better job with Interview with the Vampire. Much better job. Like so much so that everything that they changed made it better. In Mayfair, everything that they changed made it worse.
Mhm.
It's just
And when
me.
are
I'm
they gonna
sorry. I'm
connect
talking
to
too much.
Interview? When are they gonna connect to Interview? Like you have a successful show. You're planning a universe. So why aren't you connecting the strands of these universes together?
Or are you going to do it at the end, which is
Are
going
you
to
gonna
take
do it? Is Lestat just gonna show up at the end, or somebody just gonna show up, walk by the house or something? I mean, but they're trying to build a universe. They're trying to build a cohesive universe. So you would think that more of the mythos of this world of vampires and other creatures and witches and all this other kind of stuff should be woven together a little bit more. And they haven't even touched on the Talamasca. The few times that we've seen them in the show haven't mentioned anything really except one time about other creatures.
y'all just outside of the building spraying like y'all.
But you're not explaining
Like
what you're
y'all the
doing.
Orkin man. Like
You're not explaining. You're not giving any history and any lore. You're not telling us
I'm
why.
used to flashback.
y'all could have been spraying roach spray. I don't.
Roping it together.
You're saying the flashbacks might be roping it together?
No, I said I'm used to that, but the flashbacks that they're giving aren't roping anything together.
Woo!
You're right.
I'm glad
Right
you
about
said
that.
that.
What you got? What you got?
The flashbacks oh my
Not
God, that
telling you
confused me
shit.
even more. I'm like, who are
Usually
these?
they tie into the same episode somehow, and you're into a bow, and you're like, oh,
Who are these
okay.
people from Scotland? Why is she giving a hand job in the middle of the woods while she picking herbs? I'm like, okay.
And why was that the first? Because wasn't that one of the first scenes that we saw of the show? It
The
was
very
in
first.
Scotland? That was the very first scene and they have yet to explain,
The
what
last
the
flashback.
reasoning behind seeing all of that.
Yeah.
Okay, I do know, but I'm not gonna tell you. It has
I'm
everything to do
assuming.
with the book. It has everything to do with the book.
Okay, I'm assuming that's her forefathers or foremothers or whatever. Their
Hopefully,
That's
it's
how
with.
it
forebears.
all started. That's how it
And
all
Okay.
now it
started.
starts.
Hmm
I get that, but you would think that as they're showing these flashbacks, that it will progressively lead to her finding out some sort of information in the
Or some
present,
link, or at least the viewer
link to the
linking
past.
and wondering when they're gonna find out about it. Like
Correct.
you see
And
the link, and now you're wondering, like, okay, are they gonna get to like when are they gonna get to this? Which episode? I'm used to
right,
that.
This is
I'm
so
but
like,
now it's
sloppily
like,
done.
is there? There's it
yeah,
seems like
like
there's two different shows. Like there's the past Mayfair, and then there's the present Mayfair, but they're not
And
connecting.
by the
They're not.
way, they seem to do a better job with the past than they do with the present.
Yes.
Even though it doesn't seem connected, it's much more appealing.
and I don't know if it's because I love to watch old stuff like that or what, but it's like, what's gonna happen with that then? And when they cut off, I'm like, they're not gonna go back.
No, they're
Please
not. They
forget.
just leave you there. Like
And
they
I'm
just
like,
leave you wherever they left wherever they left us the last time. The man was on the table, the woman was on the table bleeding out or something. That was it.
Now, I could have, like within one season, I could have written one episode. Okay, so that first book was really telling the story of all the Mayfairs. So we learned maybe about 8 different stories about Mayfairs, right? So Rowan is the 13th. So in the book, we learned about 8. We learned about their gifts. We learned about Lasher. We learned a lot of different things. Each episode could have had like maybe 15 minutes devoted to that, and Lasher would be like the connecting point. But
Mhm.
mhm.
Lasher himself is like a B character. If you think about it,
Right,
he's a B
right,
character.
right.
But he's the antagonist of this show. Like it makes no sense to me. None of this makes sense to me. None.
Like they're
But
acting as
everybody
if
else.
Cortland is the antagonist of the show. Cortland and Carlotta are the
Carlotta.
antagonists of the show right now. That's what they're acting like, but that's not true. Lasher is the antagonist of the show, and but we have no background on Lasher. We have no idea about what Lasher is. He's some sort of and that's attached himself to the Mayfair family. You would
No
have think they would have
background. We
tried to
have no
explain some of
foreground
that,
either.
huh?
Last year, we
We have
know
no
last
foreground either.
What you said, Elia? I couldn't hear you.
No, he said we have no background. I said we have no foreground either.
nope. He just keeps smashing.
No
He just
foreground,
that's
no
all he doing is
foreskin.
smashing. That's all we know
And
he doing is
I
smashing.
thought, oh girl,
Could I?
I thought last year was in the body of the guy who impregnated your girl who got her throat slit. So I thought, that's this little demon seed. That's why he can't smash her. But who she?
That's what I thought too.
Some
And then
devilish character was scratching her ass up. Who was that? I said, who left all the marks on that girl then? If it wasn't last year, baby.
It was Lasher. It
it
was
was
so the
So
one
now you
thing.
understand my confusion. Why is you trying to smash the 13th witch if the 13th witch your seed nasty?
So he becomes corporeal. He like somebody that you can touch once Rowan puts the necklace on, right?
mm,
Now,
I love that word. Say it again.
corporeal.
It sounds
That sounds sexy.
But
does
he
it?
only gets 100% of his powers. He gets 100% of his powers once Rowan has her child.
Okay.
Hmm.
which clearly has to be impregnated by him.
No,
So
not by him.
it
Still
don't
can't
have
be
to
by
be.
him.
Oh, so he becomes physical, but he's not the seed giver.
Correct.
It's
So
not
did he possess the dude who was smashing her mama?
in the sense of
Okay.
Oh, you mean
making him do
you
it.
mean the little twink? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, the little twink.
No, he doesn't possess any of them. He doesn't possess any of them.
Well, who
He just
smashed?
comes behind. He just comes behind.
Oh, he made.
Oh,
So he wasn't there, and then he was there.
Yeah, I
Wearing
guess
the
you can
mask.
say that. You can say that.
so
You
she
can say
actually thought it was the little twink, and then the
that. She
little
knew it
twink
was the
left.
twink.
He was a twink. He
No,
was
No,
the
fine.
hold
twink
on.
was real.
We talking about episode 1. Episode
We're
1.
talking about
You
episode
remember
Yeah,
one.
the one she smashed. He was a
Uh-huh.
twink.
That's what Corey said. Well, he is a twink.
He was a twink.
He is a twink.
He cute.
I mean, that's a twink.
Twinks,
Twink. A twink is a
typically
twink.
are cute, young,
That's
and
good.
you know.
Young,
He
dumb,
had
and
a nice
full.
little body on him too when he took his little shirt off. Okay, for the twink.
Twins typically do, child.
Right, I didn't even know. You know what I'm saying? That's why I was like, you what?
I mean, let me be quiet.
People be in the gym got me wanting to get in the
Oh,
gym.
let me be quiet. Oh, Jesus.
What you
I ain't
We're
saying
not about to
nothing.
have a whole discussion on twinks and
No.
gyms and all that.
That's
We're not about to
not-
do it on
that's
the
Guys,
show.
it'll be another
That's
episode.
gonna be another episode. We're gonna do
I
that
thought
another
so.
time.
I be a little on the thin side. That's all. I didn't know they wanted to have chisels, so I was like, okay,
Oh,
that's my.
Hey, too,
What is going
when
on?
We discussed
What is going on?
twinks.
So toward the end of this episode, when they get Carlotta to put this necklace on, and she down there in the basement
Thumping her head.
in New
Thumping her
Orleans, down there in the basement.
Wouldn't have happened. Not no black woman from New Orleans. No, indeed.
They did her dirty.
Where do we think it's gonna go?
They better go up.
Let's be optimistic. I know we have our feelings.
Okay.
Optimistic or
How
realistic?
do we think they're going to improve it? Do we think that it's unsavable, or do we think that they did a bad job of introducing the
It's
show?
so unsavory.
That she's gonna have to have sex with the black guy.
Well, yeah, we know that.
She's gonna have to. It's gonna have to be thrilling sex scene. You know that.
Oh, it's got to be the bomb.
I feel like
yeah, because we're really lacking on sex and sexuality in this show as opposed to what we got in interview.
talk about Sex in the City. It ain't happening.
It's not.
We're not gonna
And,
make
we,
it seem
and
like
to say this is a show about witches, we are sorely missing witchcraft.
What I think is gonna happen is they're gonna pick one episode and it's gonna be witch overload.
yeah, and I hope.
I feel like we just gonna be catapulted into it. It's just like it's gonna be all at once.
Man, I want some sorcery. I want some crystals. I want some goddamn potions.
I want some blood. I
I want some blood.
I want all that.
The
I
only
want
blood we got was Deidre throat and Delphine head.
I
need
want somebody to
powers.
do something. You said, what about Delphine head?
I'm saying that's the only blood we got from Deidre's throat and Delphine head.
It ain't appreciated.
You know, we ain't shit.
I hate you right now. I hate you right now.
We ain't shit. We ain't shit. We
Yes,
is dragging.
I need to
this
meme
show.
your face
We are
right now.
dragging this show.
Y'all know I'm a character. Come on.
The third episode that we have dragged this show.
We
And
trying.
it's gonna continue
We
until we
trying.
get to the end of this piece. We're gonna drag it to the end if it don't get better.
They
I
wrong
want
for
it to
this.
be good because I like witches.
At this point, I've gotten more satisfaction out of watching a cactus. Like,
Can I ask y'all? I know we're going off topic, but can I ask y'all of the thing that you could be, werewolf, witch, vampire, or nothing. Which would you what would you choose?
Vampire.
Ooh, I'd be a witch.
Vampire.
I think I want to be a witch because I want to be able to go outside in the daytime.
I'd be a witch because if you think about it, the witches created all of them.
Yeah, because I'm gonna just since you my friend and you a witch, I'm gonna just get you to make me a daylight ring. That's it.
Yeah.
Give me some of that sunscreen, baby.
We gonna go straight up Vampire Diaries on this thing. I'm gonna get you to make me a daylight ring.
See that right there, that's the model. Shows like Vampire Diaries, the originals. The originals did by the way, did a great
They did
job
New Orleans right.
showcasing the city.
I
They
never
did.
That's the model. Why did
they
they
did
follow
You never
that?
seen originals?
They did New Orleans right
Y'all,
away.
so y'all, I have
Even
been
Legacies, and it was
hiatus.
a spinoff
A
with high
spinoff.
school kids. That
Yeah.
Hiatus. I've been on hiatus from television, movies, everything because of adulting and parenting.
I get it.
So
so I'm
yeah,
just
you
getting back
for
into the fun.
everything that you like, you need to check out originals.
Yeah, you
Okay.
Well,
really
you
like
might want to start with what was originals a
Vampire
spinoff of
Diaries.
Vampire Diaries.
Vampire Diaries is first. And
Vampire
then
Diaries, she got a lot of seasons to
Yeah, it's a lot,
catch
but
up on, but
it's
I
good.
think she could still appreciate it even if she
Yeah,
didn't
Okay.
I
watch
agree.
Vampire
I
Diaries.
agree.
But
hell,
some
Because
of
even the
them,
Definitely.
original Charmed
I
add a little
used
bit
to watch
more
Charmed.
realism
Yes,
to it.
Charm.
See, that's what I'm saying. I loved me some Charmed. That's what I'm saying.
yes, great
Like I
show.
was a Charmed girl. I would watch it faithfully. You hear me?
I
Phoebe,
still watch it
Yeah,
when I
Piper,
catch it.
all up.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
True.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, come on. I used to try to figure out which one I wanted to be until another one did something amazing, and it was like, no, I want to be that one. Can I get a combo? Can I be all of them? Yeah, like, I grew up loving this stuff, and I just feel like, okay, so we add sexuality to shows now. Okay, so we're gonna up the ante on like, oh, somebody's having sex. Okay, so you can add sexual content to shows now, but let's not like forget about the
Add
good part,
substance.
like the witchery. You know,
uh, uh,
like the content, like what is the
yeah,
story really about? You
yeah.
can't have these like meaningless sex scenes that mean nothing, or like the woman jerking the dude off in the woods. Who fucking cares? What does it have to do with witchery right now?
So you know what? The guy who's a showrunner for Interview with the Vampire, he specifically said, Anne Rice wasn't like really into the powers of these people, but the showrunner, is into the powers of these people. I really think that he needs a heavier hand in the Mayfair Witches. He needs a
Mm,
much heavier hand.
a person really into the witchery, not just the
Right.
story behind it. It's like,
Oh,
okay, when
the
the
history, the
witchery,
legacy, the especially as it relates to a city
Yeah.
like New Orleans. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
That's what the draw is.
supposed to be sexy and romantic and thrilling and scary and then like sexy again. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not getting it right now. Even
And it's
though
not connecting to interview. That's the other issue that major issue that I have. It's not connecting to
Yeah.
interview at all.
I think you've just fallen in love with Interview with the Vampire. Like I think that's just it. Like everything revolves around Interview with the Vampire. And look, I understand. I get it.
But the books, it does.
It does.
Everything
It
revolves
does.
around interview and the vampire and
It
the Vampire
does.
Chronicles.
It does.
so you saying bring it full circle, damn it.
We're not getting semicircle. We're not getting colon. Nothing. Perfect plan.
Speaking of semicolons and full circles, let's end this show right now because I don't know because I
That
feel like
last boring scene
yes,
where
yes.
they holding hands.
And it's the light and
Where
the
you at?
crying.
Touch my hand.
So,
Touch my hand. Right there.
right.
Felt it.
Y'all ignorant, bro. And scene.
I'm gonna still watch it though because I like fuckery and I
I'm gonna
like
keep watching it. I'm gonna keep watching
supernatural stuff. I'm gonna clown it, but I'm gonna still watch it. And at the end, I'm gonna talk shit about it. But that's
I'm gonna
what
stick beside him. I'm gonna stick
I
beside him.
want our viewers to understand that we do not get on here for the sole purpose of just dragging Mayfair Witches.
I feel like this is the first time that we've ever done that on any episode
of anything.
Like, but we've done it 3 times for this. It's something to be said.
And then the fourth
And what were
episode,
the
we're
ratings?
gonna drag it again. If it's
now
What'd you
we're
say?
gonna drag it until we have something else to do.
until we have retribution. I was asking.
But thank y'all for watching us drag it.
Please tune in. We're gonna keep it honest. If we're not gonna, at least people know that we're gonna be honest if we like it or not. Because I'm not gonna put like I mean, why put on? You know, why put on? I still encourage people view. I do. They make up their own mind, but
You're gonna see it our way.
And if you think we're wrong, then
Tell
Tell
us
us.
Tell us.
in the comments.
Please
In the
drop a
comments.
comment. Several
Make us
comments.
see it differently.
Maybe
I'm
we
okay
might
with it.
invite you to disagree with us, and maybe that can be our
Please. Oh, that
entertainment.
would be wonderful. That would be
Please,
wonderful.
that would be awesome.
Mhm, mhm. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so very much for joining us. As always, please like, comment, subscribe, share, any and everything. We love it. We will definitely respond to your comments. Have a great evening. Peace.